Hello, my name is Dozier Mills, Stromquist & Company. I'm here today to show you how to change out a wireless thermostat that's made by Entouch. Entouch is a wireless thermostat that has a strong capability for adding an energy monitoring capability to your house, to your facility, to about anything that you have. So what I'm going to be doing is changing out this thermostat to this stat right here. Now this is an old thermostat, and what this stat goes to is what's called a normal house unit. It's a 4-ton straight cool with electric heat. So I'm going to be pulling this off there and changing the stat out. Okay, we get a manual that will help us to do the install. Looks like they give you a little sheet here to help you when you go to install the thermostat online, because it's wireless. And then of course the wireless itself. Okay, so there's the stat, and that's what the stat looks like. And then of course here's the base, and you can already see the base. It's going to be a little tricky for me on the base to actually change this out compared to what I have here. So I'm going to have to mark my wires and pull this base off and get it nice and level and do the right things. Now, the wires, Y is usually yellow, G is green, and W is usually white. The red usually goes to RC, and they have a little jumper that goes to RH. Remember that? And then, of course, we have a blue wire, which is my common wire. And we're going to need all those wires, and we're going to transfer them over to this base right here. So let's get busy doing that. Okay, after I've got all the wires removed and everything, one little trick I always know is that when you paint and you're caulking, I always caulk this in. So I'm going to take a little blade, and I'm going to go across around the edges of this whole thing. And makes it a little easier to pull it off the wall so you don't rip the drywall. Okay, now that we have installed our sub-base, I'm going to go through the wiring of the sub-base. I'm going to start at the top up here. The blue is your common. It's going to be going on C. The white is your heat. It's going to be going on the WOB, which can also be used for heat pumps. So your heat pump is your OB. Your W is going to be for your heat. That's your electric heat. The red goes down here on the red, which notice that's going to be RC, which is a jumper that goes up to RH. So you've got both. That's for your heating and your cooling sides. Move over to the other side, which is your yellow. Yellow is for your cooling. That's on the Y. Green, which is G. That's your fan. That's on the G. Okay, and I want you to notice something on this back of this stat. You can see you've got a serial number. You've got a MAC address, and there's your MAC number. But the most important code right now is called this passcode, and that's a code right there. And that's your code. Now, I want you to notice that this code right here is what I'll be putting in on my system. And if you try to use my code on your system, it's not going to work, because once I marry that code onto my server, it becomes my stat, and you can never ever use that code again. That code is married to this stat and this stat only. Okay, so but you need to know that code right there, so you're going to be looking for that code. Go. Okay, when you first power it up, you're going to go through power setting up, and you'll come to a screen. This will be the first screen you're going to see. And this is the wizard screen. So if you brand new, you've never installed one of these before, it'd be wise for you to go ahead and hit let's get started. Okay, the first thing it's going to ask me on get started is what type is my equipment? Conventional. If I hit the little button right here, she'll ask me if it's a heat pump or conventional. Okay, mine's conventional, so I'm going to go ahead and pick conventional. Electric, is it gas or is it electric? Mine's electric, so I'm going to hit electric. Okay, I'm going to go next. Okay, now this has come up with a time and a date. So the time right now happens to be, looks like 6:25. So I'm going to go change the time. 6. And you have to press this to get it to move. 25, okay. And PM, all right. And we're talking about today is the 10th month, which happens to be October. And today is the 25th. What's today's date? 2012, I'm going to hit next. Come, there we go. My time zone, I happen to be in the eastern area. Next. Okay. This is where if I'm going to add a voltage, well, that's not voltage, it's actually called a GM1, which is an energy monitor, which actually looks at my voltage and my amperages. I will be installing this in a later video, but for right now, we're going to go ahead and skip this, so we'll go next. Okay, this is going to be office, school, store, or restaurant. Let's go ahead and, this is going to be from my home, so I will probably just pick office will be good. What she's doing right now, she's going to be looking for my network. So as she's scanning for my network, we're going to wait for her, and then as soon as she comes up, she should show my network. Okay, there's my network. And then I'll have to go ahead and put my password. So when I hit this button right here, she should give me a screen. Come on. There she goes. Wait for it to load. Oh, there it goes. Takes a little time for it to negotiate. So right now she's attempting to connect to my router. And she will go through certain steps and checks. The stat has a capability of either doing DHCP, which is your standard network, or you can set up for static IP as well. Once it marries to the server, you'll be able to look at it and get the weather off of it, and you'll have remote control capabilities of the stat. So right now that's the main thing we're trying to do is connect. First time it's checked, okay, so she found my device, so she's obtaining an IP from my router. So my router is apparently happy with it. My router has an encryption on it, so I have my system is encrypted, so that way nobody tries to hack into it and steal my bandwidth. Okay, so now we've got 4 green checks, which is very important. So I'm connected. Shows me an IP. She's connected to the server. I'm going to hit the next button. Alright, so your basic operation is now configured. I'm going to exit the wizard. System info. There's my passcode. There's my series. Tells me the software is a 0.506. That's the hardware. Software is very important because with Entouch you get free firmware upgrades, and the current firmware is 0.02.53. The WIWY is a MAC address, and notice there's only 2 sections here. There's a 19.1B. That's important. So the 2 main things are the 2 top ones. You want the passcode. Okay, we have completed getting the new wireless Entouch stat connected to my home AC, and you can see it's 82 degrees in here, and right now we've got it set for 76 degrees. She's cooling, humidity is 44%, and you can see right now I'm connected to the internet, which is a good thing. If I hit my menu, you can set up different variances here. Here's if I would go want to look at my run time. So each time daily my AC is running, I can quickly see what time my unit's been running in cool mode, heat mode, and when the fan's been running. And if I want, I can set up who to contact, an emergency number, put all that information there. If I want to make adjustments, I only want cool mode, or if I want heat mode, if I want it off, if I want the fan running all the time, I can make adjustments here. So if I go auto, it'll be there. Right now I'm just going to put it in cool mode. If I hit the advanced gives me a lot more depth on it. My network setting, this is where I'm going to be adding my voltage monitor, which will be in the next video. My outputs, if I wanted to add a supply error sensor here, I can add an additional S1 and S2 sensor. If I wanted to add an occupancy sensor here, or a special motion sensor, or a security alarm, something, I could set that here as well. My outputs, this is where if I was going to have a little bit more control, as far as if I had W2 hooked up, I could have a second stage auxiliary heat, second heat. I can add it for humidity control, so if my humidity in my, I went on vacation and my humidity in my room got above, or my area got above 60, 70%, we could set it up to where it automatically kicked the AC on. Second stage, again, humidity control. Third stage, which is absolutely disabled, you have that capability of adding. So you, like I said, you have 3 cools, 3 heats on this thermostat. On a home AC unit, you're typically not going to be using that. You're going to be using probably 1 stage of heat, 1 stage of cool typically. Installation pretty much takes you back to the area here, humidity. This is where I would go in and enable my humidity control. If I had an EMS system, this is where I can do some EMS and very high areas of adding certain little parts to it. Again, my advance, if it was messed up and I wanted to reboot it, I could reboot it. Or if I wanted to take the stat and move it somewhere, I can hit it, put it back to factory. Again, relay test, it's going to confirm. If I hit this button, shuts off my AC. And this is where I can go in and turn on my fan. My fan will kick on. And if I want to turn on my heat, I can hit a button and turn on my heat, test my heat. I can turn on my cooling and turn on my cooling. But right now I'm just going to leave this off. But it tests your relays to make sure your relays are working in your stat like they should. Okay, that completes this install of this. Our next is going to be installing the energy monitor. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Thank you.